Have any one of you come across the word cloud computing before? Have you have an encounter? Okay, I have yes, I have yes, yes, please, and then no. First time hearing it. Okay. It's always been like that. The first time I heard about cloud computing, I was also very, very okay. Um, I was very confused. How can we have computers in the cloud? It was very, very um new to me. But the thing is, those of us who grew up in Ghana in the 90s, growing up in Ghana in the 90s, how many of you were born at that time in the 90s? Do I have Gen Zs here? I mean, from 2000 coming, do I have put it in the chat? Let me see. From 2000, you were born from 2000 coming, you are Gen Z. We are millennials. So that don't mean I don't have Gen Zs here. Oh, it could have been interesting. If we had them here, it would have been interesting. But so that means we are all millennials, you know. You know, back in Ghana, I remember in the 90s, we used to go to the internet cafes and we just browse and be chatting. We call it what? Be emailing people. When you go to the desk, the receptionist will receive you and then give you time for you to go and sit on the computer. And when your time is up, it will go off by itself. You have to raise your hands up and then they will give you another 30 minutes and you will be using it. When your time finish, it goes off again. That is what cloud computing is. That is exactly what cloud computing is. So cloud computing is simply means that you are renting computers over the internet instead of you owning them yourself. That is what cloud computing is. So, for instance, you use a company's infrastructures like a storage, databases, and then servers and then pay only for what you use. You understand? We have so many examples around us, so many examples, and that is how innovation is. That is how innovation comes by. For instance, you take an Uber, you have rented it. When you reach your destination, you get down from the car. So does it mean that when the car breaks down, you have to go and then um, repairs it? No, you have no responsibility on that. That is what cloud computing is. So let's look at the cloud computing models. Let's look at some cloud computing. So I will be sharing my screen with you, and then you have access to some slides that I have. So let me open it and see. Okay. Yeah. Can you all see my screen now? Just unmute yourself
Yes.
and tell me. Okay. Okay. If you see, no, I think I need to stop sharing and then come back again. So I needed to select a particular screen I want to share with you. So I think I have my. Okay, so I have on my screen the cloud computing models here. Yeah, so cloud computing allows developers, for instance, and IT teams to focus on what truly matters by eliminating the need for procurement and then maintenance and capacity planning. For instance, if you are working in an IT department and then you have to, all the time provisions, buy new computers and then come and install them, install your hardwares, your softwares, and then buy databases. So many kind of things. But here is the situation, just like I said with the Uber. You just hire the Uber, you sit in it, and then when you get to circle, you get off. When the car breaks down, you don't go and look for the driver and say that, let me repair it because I once sat in it. No. So AWS have taken care of that. They've built giant databases across the world. They have installed their databases and so many things in it. And all that they are telling you is that just go in there. How many computers do you need? Just go in there, provision them, and use them. You need one computer to use, you go in there. And the most important thing is when you finish and you don't need it again, you just simply have to do what? Have to terminate it and you are gone. Just like we go to the internet cafes, we use the computers. When we finish, when our 30 minutes are done, it automatically goes off. But here is the case with AWS, you yourself have to turn it off and on whenever you need it. So that is how flexible AWS brings to us, and then cloud computing also brings to us. I think I saw someone's hands. Is it? Do you have something there?
Yeah, hi Pauline. You are sharing your screen, but the PDF file is not showing. It's just your Windows menu and then the selected
Oh, okay. Okay. Then
file.
I'm coming. Let me stop sharing and then come again. Can you not see my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. 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 So these are the examples that we are talking about. So understanding these models helps you in choosing the right cloud strategies. Before cloud computing, companies relied solely on on-prem. These ones, we have on-premises, we have the cloud, and then the hybrid. So companies relied solely on on-prem infrastructures where they host and then maintain their own service, storages, networking equipment in the physical data center. They were themselves provisioning all of these things. So it requires an entire department dedicated to managing all these, hardwares. The power, the cooling systems you have to put in place, the security systems, and so on and so forth that you have to put in place to be able to achieve it. So before cloud computing, that is what everybody was doing. And then cloud computing came in. And then one of the things was its unsustainability for business. It wasn't that convenient for them to be using it all the time. So, that is one of the things that we always usually talk about, that cloud computing takes away heavy lifting. And I just mentioned it here that Adobe Hub took away the heavy lifting from you and me. Yeah, that is because they were able to make sure that you come here and then make sure that everything. So with the cloud, organizations can now quickly provision and then scale their resources and then paying for only what they use. And then we have the third party approach, that is a hybrid system. So the hybrid is where we combine the on-prem system infrastructure and then with the cloud resources as well. This models allows businesses to extend their existing data centers into the cloud, ensuring that they can retain control over the sensitive workload while still benefiting from the cloud scalability system. Yeah, so there are companies who have decided to have their on-prem system and also have the cloud as well. So for instance, they might say that for our sensitive data, we would want to have it internally with ourselves, our own service, whilst the other things which are not that sensitive, we would want to host it in the cloud. That is also another, let's say, trust for, yeah, maybe if the company do not trust the cloud system so much so that they have to leave everything to the cloud, they decide to keep some of it. For instance, there are certain things that mostly we take very consideration of. For instance, a hospital sensitive data should be well protected so that patients' records and so many other things may not get out. The same thing with our security agencies like Yoko or what do we call this? CID, right? Yeah. So for instance, the IT department of CID, yeah, Ghana we say CID or Yoko may decide that, okay, sensitive data that have to do with the security of the country, the country, we have to post it ourselves. And then the others like normal complaints from people and all of that, we can decide to post them in the cloud. And that also has to do with what the trust that the people have for the cloud and all of that. So it depends on the people and what they want. If you want to still maintain the on-premises, that is up to you and your requirement. If you want to go to the cloud, which is very easy and convenient to go to the cloud. And if you want the hybrid system where you share the responsibility, then you can also do what's good. Yeah. So let's go on to understanding the AWS global infrastructure. That is what availability zones, the regions, and then the edge locations. When you look on my screen, we have a region here. Yeah, there's a region here. And then inside the region, we have availability zones here. This is one availability zone and then another availability. So let's say availability zone A and then availability zone B. And then you have the resources here. These are the resources. So what are the regions? Regions is just similar. For instance, when you go to Ghana and you go to Accra, Accra is the main region, you know. So the main region is here. That is the Greater Accra region. And then we have Tema as a district. Tema is a district which is inside the Greater Accra region. This is it. So AWS have data centers in every region. And then within the region, it also does what? Have availability zones. within that particular region. As we are going forward and we are moving forward, we'll be talking more about these availability zones and what its importance is. In, I think the whole of Africa, we have AWS have one data center in South Africa. I heard that they were moving towards West Africa, which was good for all of us. So that is about, is it last year or two? I heard they were moving to West Africa, and I'm praying that it comes, the data center comes, because when it happens like that, it means we are going to have greater opportunity, yeah, of a lot of jobs coming in. So data centers, we have some in South Africa. So when you are provisioning as an African, if you are in Africa and you are provisioning your servers, you would choose South Africa, or you can choose London, which is closer to Africa. You know, US is very far away from Africa. So sometimes when we're in Africa, I've not done it before anyway, but I have people complaining all the time that they don't get the requirements that they need, the speed and all of that they need. But when you are starting, I will urge all of you, when you are opening your account, just put it in South Africa or London. That is EU, yeah, that is in EU was, you can do it EU was one or is one or something, which is London. You can get very good and then places to do. So that's how the regions work. So within the regions, we have availability zones around, and that is very, very important. So for instance, we have availability zone A, we have availability zone B. So when your resources are provisioned in let's say Greater Accra region, and then you place your resources in Kema. Yeah, there's also within a Greater Accra region, I think we have another availability zone in Osu. Yeah, let me say Osu. I don't know whether Osu is a district or something, but let me say Osu. So in case there is a disaster, this is the reason why AWS does that. So it's very, very real that you can tell me that you provision your resources in the cloud and your data got missing. It's not, it will never happen. Because, for instance, you are in Greater Accra region, you provision your resources in here, availability zone A, and there's a crash here, maybe a tsunami happens in Tema. Your resources is still here in Osu. You still have them in Osu. It will be very difficult that you tell me that it's got missing. And also, it's always like that, because when it's time for us to start the auto scaling and load balancing, you would see how these things work. It's switch between regions, it's switch between availability zones. So whenever there is traffic in availability zone, there's too much traffic in Tema. Yeah, you are in Greater Accra region, and then there's too much traffic in Tema. You can divert yourself and say, okay, then let me go and pass through Osu and go to Accra. Those of you from Accra, don't laugh. I don't know Accra, so don't laugh at me. I'm just using them. So that is how AWS works. So there's too much traffic in Tema, so you pass through and go to. There's for Osu, there's no traffic there, so you switch and go there. That is how it works. So you want a resilient architecture in the cloud. You want a redundant architecture in the cloud. You make sure that you provision your resources in different availability zones so that it will give you that redundancy, and then it will be switching by itself. Whenever there's traffic here, it switches to here. And whenever your server, there's a load on your server, automatically it adds more. And whenever your traffic goes down, it shrinks and do that. This is what I love about this cloud. You know, working in an IT department, I remember back in the day in Ghana as an IT support, I know how we sometimes go through stress. You know, you will be there and you are being called to work on this computer is not doing this computer. But this kind of situation, you are not the one doing it. You just need to go in there and put in the right things in place. Put this one here, put that one here. So this is the reason why you need to learn these things and learn them very well. Because, for instance, if Malcolm have employed you as a solutions architect, and you know that there's a sales oncoming, or weekend is coming, or let's say holidays are coming, and you know that people treat you, when we were kids, whenever there's holiday, we all treat it, not holiday, yeah, whenever there's holiday at school, we all troop in and go to Malcolm and be buying small things. So imagine that Malcolm Gate is very small like this, and then all of a sudden, all of us, we are plenty, we are too many, and we cannot pass through that gate. So it's the work of Malcolm to do what? To expand it whenever they realize that holidays are coming, and that's more, these students will be coming into buying, we were buying rubbers and some kind of spoons and unnecessary things there. So it's the work of what? Malcolm to expand it for the customers to enter. So you need to learn these things very well. So you have been employed as a solutions architect at Malcolm, and you know that your e-commerce platform, the online shopping, Christmas is coming and people are home and they will be buying a lot of things. So what do? You increase the capacity, you implement your auto scaling, so that maybe if you have provision to an EC2 instead, that's the virtual service is 2, you increase it to automatically, let's say 4 or 6 during the Christmas time. And then you go and sleep. When people troop into the online shop, they will shop and go their way without the service crashing. But whereby you decide to maintain the 2 every day, it means that when it crashes, you will be called. And when you call, you are called. And at the end of the day, customers were not able to shop and all of that. Do you expect the MD to pay you? You will be sacked because you've made them to lose a lot of revenue there. So you need to learn these things very well. Let's go to the next. Yeah. I think this is the regions on the screen. The regions on the screen being displayed. When you look at this place, the orange, I'll send these things to you so on Telegram for you to have. So the orange is where AWS is. You see what I was talking about? This is Africa. You see, South Africa, that's where we have. Which continent is this? They also have one, like Africa.
South America.
South America, yeah. Yeah, we are all the same. So I think we have only one data center here. I'm praying that they get to West Africa. And I was thinking, I heard it's Nigeria. If it's Nigeria, it's Ghana. So let's pray that it comes on. Yeah, when you look at this place, I think this is Europe, right?
North America, US, Canada,
Yeah.
thereabouts.
Oh, okay. So they have a lot of data centers around this place. So when you look at when you go online and see most of the jobs, even in Europe, cloud jobs are booming and all of that. In Africa, it is booming. Recently, I have a friend who is a recruiter in Ghana, and he sent me a message that if I have people who are solutions architects, I should tell them. So it means that there are companies in Ghana. MTN, yeah, MTN is using the cloud. ShopRite is using the cloud. Cocktail is using. So many companies in Ghana are using the cloud. Though Nigerian companies outnumber us, but Ghanaian companies, as time goes on, you would. And then the green, it says the green here indicates that coming soon. It is coming soon, but I'm not seeing any green here in Africa. But still, this document is coming from AWS page. I got it from AWS, so it's very, very authentic. Yeah, there's no green here, so I don't know about that. So that is how it is. The regions and then the data center issues. When we come to the next slide, we have some of the regions here. For me, I use US is one, that's the North Virginia. I've been using it since, and it's very good for me. And then US is what? Yeah, is two. That is the Ohio region. Yeah, US have a lot of regions there. US West two. That's Oregon region. That is us, South Africa. Yeah. So South Africa one. We have only one in Africa. And then Asia also have a lot of data centers there. Canada have only one, so all of us, I think we are one. Europe, we have a lot, but I don't provision my resources in Europe. I provision them in US is one. And also that is personal, but for companies that I work with, they determine where they want their resources to be provisioned. And let me say this. When you work for a company in Europe, Europe have rules that the data of Europe remains in Europe. So you would not be working for a company in Europe and say that I'm going to provision our resources in South Africa. No, you will be sacked. And so their resources remains in Europe. And US the same thing. Their data don't go out. So when you are working for a company in the US, you provision them in the US. So their data remains in the US. The same thing I think will happen in Ghana. It will depend on the company that you get. If the company says that we want our resources to be, I don't know the level of data protection that Ghana has, but I think it's very, very low in Ghana. And for that matter, for companies to be provisioning their resources outside Africa, I think is something that maybe is ongoing. Yeah. So this is also another map for us. When you look at the symbol here is the human, and then this is an edge location, and then you have your media content around you. So wherever, what does it tell you? It tells you that wherever you are, that is where you should be able to provision your resources nearer to you, because there's an edge location nearer to you and all of that. For instance, you are in Ghana and then you store your pictures in the cloud. Whenever you go to the browser to retrieve that pictures, AWS will look at an edge location nearer to you and then retrieve it from there for you, and that is South Africa. They will not be jumping from South Africa and be going to London to be looking for your resources for you. That is how it is. So some few minutes, I don't know how many minutes for us to do, but I will stop sharing and then I will go to the browser and we will go on and then do what? Open our AWS account today. So I have with me here what I think I need to. Let me put in there. Do you see my screen? Because
No, please.
Then that means I am not sharing yet. So now do you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So if you see it, I just went to the browser and typed in AWS PTO. I have with me here what I need is my credit card with me to open the account. The recorded videos, they are telling me to sign in, but I am opening a new account. So I will sign up,
Member one.
yeah, to a new.
Hello.
Yeah, I can now see it.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah, your hand is up. You are not saying
Yes.
it.
I think my hand is